say we are women, we mean that we are brave, we are strong, we are capable, we are unique, we are woman to woman.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Good afternoon, Africa. A very special Friday. Today, we celebrate Good Friday, the sacrifice of Jesus for you and for me. Good afternoon, Toko.
Good afternoon, Marcia, and good afternoon to our wonderful viewers.
We had a wonderful morning service,
Yes.
and we hoped that our audience has been with us somehow in one of our branches throughout the world. Not only in South
Africa, yeah.
Because today, for me, is the most special holiday in our calendar. I know people like Christmas, but for me, today is the essence of being a Christian.
I think it's the most celebrated holiday, especially for us Christians, because we know the meaning. I think that's what makes it special, because we know the meaning of it.
And we pray that many of you who maybe did not understand the meaning of it before, had been to one of our services.
Yeah.
And this Friday, this Good Friday, became special in your life as well. Thinking about this holiday, and probably that we have couples and families together, we brought something different to you. We are actually celebrating our 5th anniversary. And one of the things that we have covered the most along these 5 years were love life. We always say, love is in the air.
Love is in the air.
And today, we bring another episode of Love is in the Air, but with a question. Did you ever ask yourself if you got married to the right person, or why things are going wrong? And today, this is our topic.
Yeah. I think many people are wondering, why are you asking them that question? Why are they asking me if I married the wrong person?
Because you're going to find out you're not the only one. I think we can relate to that.
Yes, yes.
Because honeymoon, marriage, wedding day, it's all beautiful.
Yeah.
But it comes the time of adaptation.
And
And that's where
sacrifices.
many people struggle with, and they decide to quit. So that you don't quit, don't quit before watching the show. We are not here alone today. You see only the two of us. But we have a very special interview with 2 couples.
Yeah.
What are their names?
The other one is Lebogang and Oratile. Yes.
And the other one?
Simpiwe and Dimakatso.
We welcome them to the show because they are going to be plain honest with you, with us. And Toko, we promise us to be honest to each one of those questions,
Actually,
isn't
we
that?
have to be honest.
So that's why we say don't quit.
Yeah.
Okay? Let us then start welcoming the 2 couples to Woman show.
Marriage is a journey filled with love, laughter, and a few surprises along the way. Today, we have 2 wonderful couples who will share with us their ups and downs, in-betweens, and the moments that made it all worth it. Welcome to Woman.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Nervous.
Okay, let's start with, please introduce yourselves and tell us how long you have been married. We'll start with the seniors.
Okay, I'm Oratile Rakhogo. I've been married to my husband for 8 years now.
I'm Lebogang Rakhogo. We've been married for 8 years now.
I'm Dimakatso Mkhwanazi. I've been married for almost 3 years now.
And I'm Spiwe Mkonazi, and just like my wife said, we've been married for almost 3 years.
Are you sure? It's like you're not sure. So it's almost 3 years.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with the first thing. You are not married, you are dating, or you are not dating, but what were your expectations of marriage, of what would marriage look like?
So for me, marriage, I had a certain idea of marriage, and that idea was that everything would be perfect. So in my mind, I figured that, okay, I knew there'd be challenges because that's what you always hear, but somehow you have this perfect idea to say things will be rosy, things will, your husband will always be there and your husband will always do certain things for you. And you kind of build up that idea in your mind to the point that when you do get into marriage, you then realize it's not as you
Wait, before we go there. So where do you think the expectation came from?
Okay, so the expectation for me came from a lot of the things that I would watch. So like movies, series. So for example, you'd see the husband bringing the wife flowers and chocolates and all of those things. So seeing that from television mostly kind of built that idea to say this is how you expect your husband to treat you. So I think for me, most of the time, it was from the things that I used to watch on television, and these things built that idea.
And Dimakats, how was it for you?
For me, I expected to be able to influence him easily in everything I wanted. I thought because he loves me, so it would be easy for him to agree to everything that I want.
What you say goes.
Yes.
It will be that type of marriage.
Yes,
Where
yes.
did you see that?
It happened to me in my previous relationships. But when I think about it, I don't think the guy was doing everything because he wanted to, but it was just a matter of him doing it just to please me. So with him, no, it doesn't work like that.
I think it would be interesting to hear from the men, your expectations. What were your expectations?
So for me, the expectations was obviously to have that partnership, teamwork, and helping each other. Just to make an example, like she made an example. Also for me, the expectations was from what we see from other people, from movies, having a wife, taking care of you, helping you, being there with you. So that was the main thing for me.
I like that you're saying having a wife to take care of you. And you're not talking about you taking care of her. That's interesting. And what were your expectations?
And on my side, the expectations that I had was similar to my friend there, that I will have a wife to take care of me, to do the duties at home, like your dishes, clean, and I'll just come, be a husband to her. And these things I saw in the movies. The husband comes, honey, I'm home, and the dinner is prepared.
Yes.
But in reality, I need to be there to help prepare the dinner. So I could say the movies, they contributed to the expectations.
Did you guys had any influence from books?
So I used to read a lot in school, and at one point I did like to read novels, and mostly novels have like a lot of romance in them, and I suppose that also would have influenced it a lot, because that's where you see like your Prince Charming doing all these things that are just like so perfect, and it gives you expectations, and so for me, I definitely would read novels, so I can say that it did come to a certain extent from the books that I used to read.
Interesting. So you've heard their expectations. What were your expectations?
Toko, unbelievable. With all love therapy, with all guidance, wrong expectations.
Yes. You see, their expectations, I think it's many women that expect that. But I didn't expect that from men. I thought men would just say, I didn't have expectations as long as I have a wife.
They also had high expectations.
But they had high expectations as well.
We also forgot to welcome to the show, Precious.
Yeah.
Floor controller today as our journalist interviewing the couples, isn't that?
Yeah.
And having fun. But now I wonder what she would have answered as well.
if
We're
she
going to
had
have a
asked
side
the
interview
question.
after with Precious
Yeah.
as well.
She needs
Toko,
to.
you had any expectations?
Mrs. M, for me, my expectations were kind of different, because I grew up in a home that is family, like I'm from one mother, one father. They were married, you know. So the way my father treated my mom, that was my expectation of my husband. I thought he is going to treat me the way my dad would treat my mom. And also, I thought he would treat me the way my dad treated me, forgetting that he was not my dad. I was comparing.
You had great expectations,
But
not
very-
based
yes.
on irreal things, but really what you saw at
Yeah,
home.
it's what I saw at home. It's not magazines like others say that I watch TV and all that. But for me, it's because of the way my father treated my mom and the way my father treated me. I expected my husband to be the same way my father treated me.
Now tell us in secret, did it happen?
It didn't. It didn't actually. It didn't, honestly, because it just proved that people are different and marriage is not one size fits all. That's the thing.
And raising expectations, it make it all the worse. But now, watch the following questions. So interesting.
So now, back with our couples. This part is called Why I Fell in Love with You. So let's start again with our seniors. So we're calling them seniors because they've been married for 8 years. All right. So let's go back to when did you guys meet? Where did you meet? And how was it?
Okay, so we have always known each other because we were in the same church, and we were in the youth together, and we basically have always known each other. But I think where I actually realized that I liked him was like later on in life. And how it happened was that he invited me on one of my socials, and we started sort of having conversations, and then we obviously then spoke to the pastor just to get guidance on our relationship, and eventually we got married. And
what was your impression of him before he actually invited you on social media? You just knew him as someone for a long time, but what was your impression of him?
My impression of him was that he was the kind of person that, to be honest, what made me attracted to him was the fact that he just didn't give me attention. And I'll explain this because, like, you kind of, not that you expect, but in most cases, you often get like people, let's say in the church or even outside of the church, that approach you or that like you or just generally give you attention. But there was just something odd about him that I just felt like I wasn't being noticed, even though I liked him. But then that for me kind of made me wonder what was going on. Why wasn't he? What was it about him that, that made him not really notice me in a way? So I wanted to find that out.
So he had that mystery.
He had a mystery to him, and he almost looked like a no-nonsense type of guy, a guy that you wouldn't just go to, ordinarily. And so that for me was what intrigued me towards him. And then when I got to know him, I then got to sort of experience a different side to him, a softer side. And that made me now fall for him and be like, okay, this is the kind of person I like. From a distance, you would think he's very strict and almost unapproachable in a way, which is, I suppose, good in the sense that you sort of command a certain level of respect. And when you see him as a man, you would see that sort of dignity about him. So that for me was what attracted me towards him. And then when I got to know him better, then I experienced a softer side, a more, nurturing side of him, which made me like him even more.
So you've known each other. What made you go to be like on Facebook, search her name, and add her as a friend on Facebook?
So the reason, like, we're from the same church, right? So it's because that time she was still at school. She was studying at university.
So you knew.
So yeah, then I invited her. But so there were other ladies, right? But so with me, I was actually observing, and I observed, and there was something different compared to the other ladies, and that made me to be attracted to her. That's when I engaged with her. She also remembers when when we started dating and we spoke to the pastor and all that, I introduced her to my parents, because I had told myself that at this stage, the person that I'm going to date is the person that I'm going to get married. And I also asked God and said, if it doesn't happen in that way, rather it doesn't even proceed for me to date that person. But yeah, then in the beginning, she thought I was joking. She thought I was just there to play. I'm joking. I'm like, no, I'm for real. And I mean what I'm telling you right now. But yeah, then later on, as we started knowing each other, that's when she saw that I was actually serious with her.
But what made her stood out from others?
It's the character. You know, for me, my brother used to say something that was very profound that he told me, that appearance is just a bonus. The most important thing that you have to look at the person is their character. Because if you don't look at the character, you look at other things, then you'll be lost. So her character, her behavior in the church and also around, it was different from the other ladies. Then that's what made me to be attracted to her.
No, that's very interesting. So observe or be unapproachable. No, someone might be attracted to that. So, Dibaka, what is it that made you go like, I think I might give this guy a chance?
His character. Well, with us, we were not in the same branch. I was from the Free State and he was from the Vaal. So I would visit to the Vaal and I saw him. And what happened there in the church is that most of the guys, they were so excited to see this new lady and they could talk to me easily, but he never even greeted me.
Oh, so it's the same.
He never said anything to me. He was very serious, and from observing him, he was doing everything so nicely and with fear. He would only come if maybe, for example, I'm carrying a bucket, then he will come and help me and that's it. It will end there. Or he would only speak to me when he wants me to do something in the youth, then that was it. So for me, that really outstood, because I mean, it shows that it's someone that I can trust. And since I'm going to be far, so it means even when I'm not around, he's going to behave. He's not going to be a guy that is always going to want to talk to every lady that he sees. So that's what attracted me to him.
No, it's very interesting. And you?
On my side, what attracted me to my wife is that, the time she was about to leave, since she was visiting our church, it was December, and without any obligation, she came because I was taking care of the youth that side. She came and said, I'm leaving, leader, I'm leaving now, I'm going back home. And I was like, yeah. So now she's reporting. And I didn't give her any signs that I'm looking at her. She was reporting that she's leaving. So I could say now it caught my attention, the way she behaved and the character in the church as she was coming. I could see she was not like all over the place. She had her position. So that really attracted me. Since the other guys, as she says, they were there happy to see her, but I was not like happy. I wanted to find out, because also I wanted the lady that I was going to date, I wanted to get married to. So I was cautious. I did not want to just make rash decisions. Oh, pretty lady came, visited, now, let's go there. No. So I took my time. I wanted to see which one is this one, so that I may understand.
So I think one thing that is common is that all of you, especially the men, you observed.
Yes.
So being strict is not a bad thing.
Not at all.
It's not a bad
thing.
Okay, now you guys are dating, you're getting to know each other. When did you get to the point of saying, I want to get married to this person?
Yeah, so for me, like I mentioned earlier, that I prayed. And with time, I eventually got that confirmation that now it's time. Again, she thought that, no, I'm just going. I don't know. When
did you get serious?
I don't know.
No, she,
Yeah, go.
so he did pray, Shame, because when we got married and we started living together, I saw pictures of myself everywhere, in Bibles, in the books of the church. And I was like, what is going on here? And that's when he said, no, I had purposes and purposes praying for you. But yeah, no, he did pray. When did I realize that I wanted to get married to him was when I think in my mind, firstly, before anything else, I've always been the kind of person who had the, what's the word? My goal was always to date for the purpose of marriage. So even when I was younger, I grew up in a family where my mom and dad were married, and I was sort of built into that. And I had an idea to say, this is what I wanted for myself. I wanted to get married, and the sooner it happens, the better for me, because I wasn't going to have casual relationships, because that's not what I wanted for myself. So I even said for myself to say, when I do find the right person, I need to make sure that I make that decision as soon as I have the confirmation. So I did with him, and when I saw again his character, the kind of person that he was, I knew for sure that this is the kind of person I want with me for the rest of my life. So that for me gave me the certainty to say it was the right time.
So is it correct to say you at some point you always knew? You just needed confirmation from God.
Yes.
And you...
I wasn't too sure at first.
Yeah, okay, so only after some time that you've observed him, and then you're like, okay, no, this is the person that I want to get married. Okay. Is it the same with you?
It's almost similar. When we were dating, I actually used to make a prayer of, God, if he's not for me, please let him go. And I never had a doubt. The doubt was never there. The more I would make that prayer, the more I would be certain that, no, I can live with this person, and this is the right person that God brought along my way. Because the way he treated me, respect he had for me, of course, even though we wouldn't see each other often, but whenever we see each other, he would respect me. He wouldn't do things that are out of control. He wouldn't touch me in a way that is inappropriate. So that gave me the certainty that, no, this guy has the fear of God. And if he fears God, it means he's going to be able to fear me as well. So I knew with the way he treated me that I want to be with him.
There's nothing grand
No.
that he did.
No.
I don't know, maybe he took you to Dubai.
No.
He didn't. You just knew from his character.
From the little things we did together, we never did big things together. Even our first date was very funny. Very funny. It was on a Christmas day. We were sitting in the mall. Imagine the mall is empty. There's no one. We just bought a packet of biscuits and juice, and we sat there on the chairs. But for me, it felt like I'm coming from Dubai. You understand?
Yeah, you had the Dubai experience.
Yes.
Just alone there with your biscuits.
Yes.
Was it a Dubai experience for you too?
Yes, I could see it.
It was.
Yeah, it was definitely it was.
Okay. The dating phase is very nice. It's like a honeymoon phase. Usually there are no problems, there are no disagreements. But did you guys had any disagreements while you were dating?
Yes, on our side we had disagreements, especially since she was staying in another province and I was staying in another province. So usually I will spend time with my friends in the church. And then I will forget, hey, you are dating now. You need to check that day, how is she, how was her day? And then I'll arrive maybe at home around about 8, late. Then she would ask, why were you quiet the whole day? And I was like, ish. But I was in the church, I was in the church. And it started there now that, hey, she said, you see now, you are starting. So you need to stop. But I understand where does her concern come from, because I would arrive late at home. So she wanted to make sure that I was safe. But for me, it was like, hey, it's nice being with the guys. So that's the disagreement that we faced.
And then did you understand it at that time immediately, or it took some time?
I took time, but eventually...
You could see from it. just like-
No, it took time. Not that I was really wanting a whole lot of attention from him, but I think I just wanted to know how he is where he is. So sometimes he would be there, they would be eating together with the youth, and they completely forget about the time. And he didn't say anything to me the whole day, not even just a hi, how are you message. So I would be like, how is he? Did something happen? Where is he? Why till this time? You see, it took time for him to understand, but as time continued, he understood it from my point of view.
Okay. So from our Dubai experience in a mall on Christmas Day eating biscuits, back to you, Miss Masha.
Very funny, isn't that? Very interesting. How people get together for different reasons, what attracts one to each other. But now it comes the relevant part. They did everything right, as we share in the love therapy. They looked for the right person. They just did not go out of impulse and say, she's the one, he's the one. They were observing. Those are very important tips for you. Observe. Then what they did next? They prayed. They asked for confirmation. Isn't that?
And for me, what you are saying, it's a reminder of what the Bible says, that watch and pray, because the Bible doesn't say pray and watch. Observation is very important. Then you pray about the situation. You see if it's from God or not. And we have to be ready to lose. Like if it's not from God, I'm ready to lose it. Because sometimes, especially us women, we become so desperate. We take whatever comes. We don't care.
And they were wise. They were not acting out of impulse. They were observing. They meeting families. They saw if they would agree. They had Dubai experiences in a shopping mall in Val Triangle.
Yeah.
But now, what happened? And that's what I want you to think about. So let us look again at the profile. From the church, and they have been to our shows before. They are assistants. They are youth coordinators. They are God-fearing people. They took the very right steps with teaching the church. They didn't have doubt about one another. They were not in doubt. Is he the right person? Is she the right person? They were sure after prayer and all that. Then they get married. Where this question comes from? Did I get married to the right person? Yeah. You're going to watch the answers to that.
I would like to interrupt you a bit. I think you are giving too much, Miss M. I'm telling you.
I agree.
Because we have the street interviews. We have people saying what they think about it. So let's first go there.
How would you define true love in your own words?
I feel like true love, it's a mutual feeling between two people. Depending on how they connect, it involves connecting emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually in a way.
What's more important in true love? Passion or friendship?
Friendship. I feel as though in friendship, it's a foundation to any romantic relationships.
How do you know when you found true love?
Sana, in movies they say when you know, you know.
Can true love exist without trust? Why or why not?
No, true love cannot exist without trust. Because trust is everything, and without trust, you cannot love each other. For example, if you and your boyfriend or your lover are doing long distance and you don't have trust, it's not gonna work, because you're gonna always think, oh, what is this person doing now? What is this one doing now? And then it's gonna cause conflict in your relationship, and that will end up for you to break up.
now that we have heard what the street interviews are for, then we are going to hear
I'm
their
curious.
answers.
I'm very
Let's get the
curious, I
answers
must
now.
say.
Let's get the answers.
So during the dating phase, the butterflies are butterflying in the stomach, everywhere. So now we'll find out after marriage, are the butterflies still butterflying or it's something else now? There's a gremlin now, okay? So you now married, you know, what was the first thing that you did as a married couple? Together, that you did together? Like, what was your first as a married couple?
One of the first things that I can remember is actually ironing our uniform together and going to the church together. It was a beautiful experience for us to actually now start going to church together. And another experience for me that was completely different now was having to adjust to the type of food that he wants when we go and buy the groceries together.
Okay, so let's stick to the first. So okay. It was ironing, you're ironing your uniform. I can relate to that because you're going to church together. And how was your first? What was your first?
Okay, my first, it was also similar to hers, going to church, because I used to go to church alone, but now I'm going with my wife. Hey, to serve God with my wife, it was amazing. I was truly, truly happy. I was smiling from ear to ear that Sunday. I was like, hey, I've arrived, boss.
You've arrived. Maybe when you're like, hey, I'm married now. I'm with my wife now. I'm not single anymore.
Yes.
So when they say married couples come in front.
Yes. That was the most exciting part, because when you are single, you are always looking at people going to the front and you're like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. And now finally you are there now.
That's nice. It's interesting, you know. Your first?
For me, it was shopping together, because that's something I used to do alone. And I didn't have to put much thought into it, because then it was what I want, you know, how much I want to spend and that sort of thing. But now that we have to do it together, we obviously have to take into consideration the other person's needs and what they like, what they don't like. So for me, that was the one thing that I sort of had to adjust to when we got married.
Yeah.
For me, it's having had to cook for me. Yeah, it was also shopping and going to church together, being there when they say they're married, they talk about marriage. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I've arrived.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, do you have any funny moment? Anyone can just share any funny moment during your honeymoon phase or memory that you'll never forget?
On my side, I could say, by just observing my wife while we're in the church, just observing and smiling alone.
You will not believe that you're...
Is it truly me? Yeah, I would say observing my wife. Yeah.
Yes, and even the following morning from the honeymoon, when you wake up, it's like you can pinch yourself, like, am I really waking up next to him? It's a blessing, but it's also a little bit of a shock in a way.
Okay, so the butterflies were butterflying, everything was nice, everything is smooth, you're married, you're looking at each other. I can't believe I'm married to this person. I can't believe I'm married. Now, did the butterflies keep butterflying or did things change?
Hey, they started landing.
They were like, lava.
So, obviously there's that excitement. Everything that's new is exciting. But I suppose once you are actually into marriage, then reality sinks in. Now you are living with this person, a completely different person to you, different mentality. yes, you share some common things, but chances are you're completely different. So with us, there was times where we would look at or have different perspectives about things, and I can think of the most trivial of examples. So he was raised by a single parent, and her mom was quite strict, quite organized and structured and that sort of thing. And I, on the other hand, had a more flexible type of childhood where my parents were more like, soft parenting type of thing. So when we got married, like there was a situation I remember distinctly when we would eat together. So we would both have dinner or lunch. And my understanding is that I eat my food, and then I put the plate in the sink, and then I wait for him to finish, and then I go wash dishes. He, on the other hand, was raised to say, as soon as you're done, you go to the sink, you wash your plate, and you put it away.
Serious?
Yes. And do you see how small this is? This is a very, it's not a big thing, but it caused a little bit of a friction because I was like, but I'm waiting for you to finish. But he's like, no, but we can't now have, dishes in the sink. So we then had a back and forth because I understood things in a certain way and he understood it in a completely different way. So we had different perspectives of the same thing. So that was just one of the examples, but all of these differences kind of caused a bit of a back and forth where we had to sit down and be like, okay, actually the reason why he thinks this way is because of how he was raised. And we sort of had to cycle back to that and say, look, it's because of the way that I sort of was taught. And now this is how I believe is the right way. And I had my way that I thought was the right way. So we had to now sit down together and find our right way and say, okay, fine, you have a different way, I have a different way, but how can we make it work for both of us? Sort of find common ground between the both of us so that we don't find ourselves arguing over such things. And this is something that we've had to learn over time. And we are now 8 years later in a space where we can say that we agree on most things because we've managed to talk them through or to communicate them better.
I really want to hear from you because you knew what you wanted. You knew marriage. You I know what I want.
Yeah.
How, when reality hit, how did it hit for you? Because you were determined, I know this.
Yeah, for me, I can say it was a surprise for me. For example, like I told you that while we were dating, I thought I knew certain things, but when we got married, that's when you actually start to know the person. But at the beginning, you learn about that person. But at that time, the way I used to do things or the way I do things is completely different from her. And that made things to go the other way. Like, what's going on? Because I'm expecting things to be done in this way. And in my mind, I'm like, everyone should know that things should be done this way. So to her, it's different. And at that time, like she mentioned, we hadn't had that chance to sit down and go in details and to get to understand how she grew up, her background and all that. But to me, I'm like, no, this is simple. It should be done this way. And I'm expecting it to be done this way because I even thought it's done that way. She would do things in that way, but it was not the case. But yeah, I was like, okay, I thought I knew, but no, I didn't.
Makata was like, yeah. So I'm sure you have a lot to share.
I can relate to what they're saying. With us, the problem was time management. I am from a family whereby my mom is very strict when it comes to time, especially when it comes to church time. You cannot play with that time. So I went to my marriage with the same mentality. So especially on Sunday mornings, I'd be very, very strict. Like I would want us to finish very quick and go. So he wouldn't understand that. He would do things nicely in his own pace. Although we wouldn't arrive late at church, but I wanted us to arrive at a certain time and I wanted us to do things and go. So that would cause a whole lot of clash between the two of us because now we end up going to church. Now we are not talking now because I was angry, he was too slow, and it wasn't nice. it continued for some time until we actually understood and sat down and decided that, okay, you wake up first. Let me not be the one who wakes up first. You wake up first, you do your things, and then I come after. So now it is working out better. There's no one who gets angry. We go to church in the right time together without anyone fighting about that time.
So I think I need to drink water for this one. What was the most heated argument you've ever had since getting married?
Can I answer that?
Feel free. He's like, don't expose me.
So the most heated argument that we have had was, and it prolonged for quite some time, was the definition of quality time. So when we got married, I had this thing. Remember, I had an idea about marriage, and in my mind, I thought he had to spend quality time with me. He had to do certain things. So my idea of quality time was I wanted him to sit down with me and we, I don't know, maybe watch a movie or something, but he must be here with me. So I used to communicate, say that a lot, a bit to the point of nagging. To the point, obviously, because I'm nagging, he would then want to fulfill that. And what he would then do would be, okay, I'll spend time with you. But for him, the fact that we were under the same roof meant that we were spending time together. But that's not quite, no, that's not it, right? Because he had to be there present fully. But he would be in the house doing other things. Like he would be busy, I don't know, in the yard washing the car or that sort of thing. And I'm like, but that doesn't qualify as spending time with me. You know, I want you to sit down and I want you to, I don't know, talk, have deep conversations or that sort of thing. So that was, for us, the biggest argument or one of the biggest arguments that we would have to say, I feel like I'm not being heard in this sense because I want you to spend time with me and I don't think you are quite doing it the way that I want. And he would then say, look, I am doing it. You know, I'm here, I'm with you. I didn't go to wherever I wanted to go. I didn't do certain things because I'm here with you. But I had a different idea of what that meant to me. So I felt like it wasn't being met.
I think that's a common feeling with us women. Now, I want to ask this specifically to the men. Have you ever felt emotionally disconnected from your spouse?
I can answer that. So with me, I think with the arguments and the fights and all those things at that time also, whereby I felt sometimes it's like just going on and on and on and on and on and on.
You like it.
Switch off. Just switch off and like. So yeah, to a point that sometimes she knows we should want to address something and sit down with me and talk. But because me, I'm like, she's going to start again. Then I'll be like, I'm just going to sit there and listen. But I've zoomed out. I'm not there. But yeah, emotionally I have.
You have, ne? Do you relate to that?
I could say I relate as well because my wife, especially, she's a morning person. And I'm also a morning person, but I'm that type of person. I want to collect my thoughts in the morning, be calm. And there she comes in the morning, she starts talking. And then when she starts, she does not finish. But the thing is that she needed to understand that I'm a quiet person in the morning. Maybe around about 10, 11, I'll start picking up.
Yes, after your first cup of coffee.
But not immediately waking up. Hey, yesterday, remember that thing? And that made us to have misunderstandings. And she would think that I'm upset or maybe I was angry with her. And I will tell her, no, I'm not angry with you. The thing is that I want to gather my thoughts. It's still morning.
Is it still like that?
We've worked through it.
The way you're looking at her, it's like you're sending a message.
He's still quiet in the morning. He doesn't talk in the morning. But I've learned to adjust to it. I now know that he's not angry. He's just not a morning person.
Then, so how do you guys handle conflict? Because you won't always agree. You know, you have different thoughts like you just said. So how do you handle it? I think you did touch on it just a little bit. So
So how we used to handle conflict before In fact, we wouldn't even handle it because I would be emotional about things and I wouldn't be able to drive my point across. But the way that we handle it now, from my side, is that I step away from the situation, especially if I feel like I'm overly emotional. Because what I have found in the past was that when I try and address issues when I feel like I'm angry at the moment and there's just a lot going on, then I end up saying things that I usually regret later. So I have found a way that works out for both of us in the sense that I step away and then gather my thoughts, collect my thoughts, understand what is it that I want to drive across in the communication, and then address it. So that makes it better because, as he said, when I'm nagging, he switches off completely, and I've noticed that, So because I've now seen the kind of reaction that I get, I realized it doesn't solve the problem. So me coming back in a clear head without all the fluff, all the drama, if I can put it in that way, eliminates that. It makes him calmer. It makes him able to see the solution and find out and understand what is it that I really want from him, as opposed to me just lashing out because I'm feeling a certain way at that moment.
Okay, so I think it's similar to what you said about the morning, is that you had to adjust a little bit. Okay, so yes or no question: have your in-laws ever had an influence in your marriage?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Okay, so last question. Dun. Have you ever questioned whether you married the right person?
And there comes the question that we were waiting for. Because you saw what we discussed in the beginning. They did the right thing, they followed the right steps, but that did not prevent them from adapting.
Exactly.
And when we adapt, we are faced with our differences. I normally say that marriage is a mirror. You end up seeing yourself and your mistakes, your shortcomings in the other person.
That's true.
They had fights,
Yeah.
funny fights.
Adaptation is very important, is a crucial moment in marriage, because if you are not willing to sacrifice, you will never adapt. You first have to be willing to sacrifice your ego, your pride, so that you can adapt. Yeah.
Now I want you to pay attention to their answers. And I want you to see if you're going to pick up something very, very interesting. Something that we have been trying to share with you along these 5 years. How different we are from being a girl and a boy. Watch and see if you pick that up.
On my side, no. I've never questioned it. I've never questioned it on my side. My wife.
With me, in the beginning, yes, because of the conflict. I wondered, did I get married at the right time? Or was I in a hurry? Because now I'm always attacking him. I'm always demanding answers from him because he's the type of person that doesn't really talk that much unless if you open the platform for him in a nice and a respectful way. But if you come to him and you shoot at him and you demand, he's just going to look at you. He's just going to go to bed and close his head, that's it. So at that time, I used to question myself, what is wrong? Am I the wrong one? Is he the wrong one? Or is it time? Were we in a hurry? What is what? So yeah, I can say I did.
And then did you get your answer?
Yes, I did get my answer.
It's like, okay. Are you sure?
I did get my answer.
Yeah, no, since you're sitting here, so that means you did get your answer. All right. But did you sense that maybe she has those questions?
Yes, I could see the way she would behave. Maybe she would ask me, am I doing anything wrong? Is there anything that I need to change? So I could sense from those questions that maybe she's questioning it.
And it didn't put any doubt in your head?
Nah, I didn't put any doubt. On my side, I was sure.
And you?
Yes, I questioned it a lot, because when these things happened, when we would have disagreements, because of the idea that I had about marriage, it made me think to myself that maybe this isn't the right person, because I'm expecting that Prince Charming that is going to do, be perfect all the time. I'm expecting that. So if I'm not seeing it now, did I maybe not find is this not the right person for me, But then I obviously learned that you actually work on marriage for marriage to work. It's not a thing of you just having expectations and expecting the other person to read your mind and know what's going on. You need to work on it. So I did question it, but I then understood that, it's a decision that we made, and we had the confirmation from God, and we know for sure that it is from God. So I had the assurance that I was married to the right person.
No, for me, no doubt. She knows very well. Because she would also, like she mentioned, voice it out on her side, but she knew my answer. I was like,
yeah,
I believe in what we have, and I believe it's from God. Regardless of the challenges of what we're experiencing, we'll pass through, we'll overcome these things eventually with it.
Okay. So are you guys happy in your marriages?
Definitely happy in our marriages.
I like that.
Yes.
From our couples, I could get that sometimes we always try to find for the right person, but not looking deep inside to see if we are the right person for that specific person. So that's it from us. Back to you, Miss Marcia.
Toko, do you think they picked up that?
I hope they did.
Would you like to voice us for them? Because it's common sense here. We go same direction. We adapted throughout the 5 years. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Another thing is it's very funny how men think, because you see that the guys were like, no, for me, I didn't think I made a wrong choice.
I was sure.
I was very sure of what I chose. But with the ladies, no, I had some doubts. Did I marry the right person or the wrong person? Yeah, women, we always analyze and think so deeply,
And take to the heart. You see how plain and straight to the point guys were. They had challenges. They had to adapt. They had to learn how to deal with this situation. But all that challenge did not bring them the doubt of God's choice for them. Because it is something you need to reflect. Did you do the right thing? Did you go through the right steps as they did? Did you pray? Did you ask God to direct you? So how now, when you are married, you come and say, I think I married the wrong guy. In the guys who are more reasoning, it's more or less like, let us separate our issues. Let us deal with our issues. But let us not go there to that dark corner and say it was a mistake. We girls, we address it all in the wrong way, isn't it?
Exactly, just like Eve. God told them, don't touch the tree. Then she argued with the snake and doubted what God had said, because she thought with her heart, if maybe the snake had gone to Adam, maybe Adam was going to reason. But the snake knew that the right person to ask this question, did God tell you this? It's Eve, because she's going to think with her heart. That's the problem of us women.
So what we wanted to tell you today, if you came to that point, not only in your love life, but maybe in some situations and challenges in your day-to-day business, workload, or varsity, and you are in that moment, have I done a mistake? Think about that. If you had followed God's steps, if you have asked for that blessing, and now you see yourself with the challenge, do not allow doubts to consume you. find the way to sort it out. Something else, Toku, I have to say about myself, and I guess I don't know, I don't remember if you ever did it. But in discussions, in arguments in marriage, who is the first one who say, I'm going to pack and go back home? Did you do that? It's a woman. Did you do that?
I once said that, and my husband said, if you say this, you must mean it. Those were his words.
Ooh.
If you say this, you must mean it. I've never said it again.
With me, the first fight, and I was quite mature, I thought so. So the first fight, I told him, I think it's best for me to go home. He quietly opened the back, I'll take you to the bus station.
I'll help you.
But if you want to talk, you let me know later on. I'll give you some time, how long you need to pack. I never more said those words.
Yeah, because men reason. Us, we always use our heart. That's why it's very, very important to reason before you do anything, honestly.
And when you are sure that God has set that path for you, do not allow doubts to take you over. Thanks God, it seems they found their way through. And we hope that today, not only in marriage, but in every area of your life, we may help you to find your way through. Because doubts and uncertainties are very typical from a woman's heart.
And it's not only in marriage, as you said, Miss Marcia, you said in all the areas of their lives, because especially those who are studying, it happens a lot. When I was studying, I remember I had told my dad that I wanted to be a psychologist. Then my dad was like, I'm not going to have a psychologist in my house. Those people are not educated. He would say that.
Gosh.
Then, okay. Then in school, you know, some, they say, I want to be this. Then you are like, okay, I want to be that. Then you just, you know, run around. You don't even know what to do, what to choose. So this happens a lot because before, people would already know what they want to do when they are already in grade 8 because the subjects they are taking. Nowadays, you ask someone in grade 10 already, what do you want to do when you know, after university? No, I don't even know. I just chose subjects. I don't even know what to do. That's why you find that later, even though the person has passed their matric, but they don't know what to do. They don't have a career that they want to choose.
And we have had in the show those who even embarked in the first, second, third year of varsity, only to find out they didn't want that.
Yeah.
They
so
didn't
it happens
pray
a
enough.
lot, even with especially women, you know, women because you are surrounded by friends and then they tell you a lot of things. It happens also in relationships. A lady comes, a friend of yours comes, maybe this guy is not good. And you don't reason yourself. You allow someone else to reason for you. He's not good, let me jump into another one. Then you see yourself changing guys. You are not married, you are 30 years old, you are not yet married. Yeah.
So I would like to thank the couples who came here. They went through Precious Lab. And we, of course, we want her to answer to the same questions.
Yes.
We are going to make sure that she's going to answer to the same questions. And let us hear them saying goodbye to us.
In the beginning, you heard how our couples were influenced by movies, novels, books that they read, but only to find out that that was not a true depiction of what true love and marriage is. But you know how woman to woman is, we won't leave you hanging. We actually have tools to help you in your journey of relationships, marriage, even if you're single. We have something for the singles, we have something for women as well, and we have something for those who are dating, even if you are not dating, but we have a book for you, and we have a book for those who are married. You can actually read this even before getting married. Guys, have you read this one?
Yes.
Yes,
we have.
We have.
And then if anyone can just share, how did it help you navigate in your journey?
I could say for me, it helped me when it comes to resolving conflicts because we needed to sit down because I was that type of a person. I would say I will sit tomorrow, but it helped me so that we may resolve it there and sort it out.
And from you guys?
I would say that I related a lot with Miss Christian's testimony when she would talk about attention, as I mentioned earlier. So it helped me in understanding that I needed to value myself and not expect my husband to be my happiness. So I learned from that happiness, I had to be happy with myself before I can expect it from him. So, yeah.
So if you also want these valuable lessons, get your books. That's it from us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Today the show is so funny that we even lost track of the segment.
It's true. It's true. And you know, for me today, I think we do not need to talk about what it all means because it's already there and we've spoken a lot. So what it all means today, you've heard already.
Don't call the quits, isn't that?
Yeah.
But let us see God's point in this. Our reflection is in the book of Isaiah. By the way, let me add on. The book of Isaiah, though it's quite difficult sometimes to understand with deepness the content of the book, for me, it's one of the greatest letters of love from God to his people. Therefore, from God to you and to me. So it's one of my favorite books because I found so many answers and encouragement in several chapters of Isaiah that today I wanted to share one more with you. Chapter 40, verse 31. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. We saw that the couples, they waited in the Lord. They asked God's direction. When we do the same, we should not deceive ourselves that everything will be a bed of roses. That doesn't happen in real life. We face opposition. We face challenges. And one of the tools of the devil is to provoke in us doubts. To doubt ourselves, to doubt God's direction, and to doubt the path that we are in. So that's why God says, wait, because he will renew your strength. You are going to mount like wings of eagles. You're going to fly high. You should run and not be weary. You're not going to give up. And you should walk and you are not going to faint. You're not going to fail. You're not going to be destroyed because you are waiting on the Lord. So we shared with you very interesting and funny experiences of two couples. You see that despite all odds, sometimes even being emotionally disconnected, they were able through God to pick up the pieces and to make their relationship stronger. Challenges are meant for that, not to put us down, not to destroy us, but actually to make us to fly much higher than what we were meant to fly in the first place. This is our Lord. But where is the secret? Before you give up, before you give in, before you fall in desperation, learn to wait in the Lord. Because if we have any strength, only in God to renew that strength. Today, I would like to pray for all of them. Not necessarily only for those who are in a conflict in marriage. And I want also to invite you to the wedding of weddings on the 1st of May. Yes. Maybe you are about to give up and all that is actually missing is commitment from both of you. Because when you commit yourselves to the Lord before the congregation, you will find purpose and tools to pick up the pieces and go on. If you don't have commitment, it's easy just to stop right there and then and not to pursue your victory. Maybe you need to bless your relationship on the altar before God. And the wedding of weddings will take place on the 1st of May. It's a holiday. It's everything so appropriate that your family be blessed. Maybe your challenge has not been necessarily in your relationship. It has been in another area of your life. But I would like to pray for you today so that this Bible verse becomes real in your life. Shall we pray? Our Lord and our Father, I always thank you for the direction you've given us. And when we enjoy so much the topic of one of our programs, I know for sure it will talk direct to the heart of many who are watching it and going through exactly that situation. And Father, I can only think about young couples and mature couples who have been tormented with the idea that they have done wrong. They have married the wrong person, that the time was not right, that they were not prepared for this. And they don't find the way forward because they are already declaring loss. They have already declared that there is no way to fix this relationship. When we know that those who wait on you, they are going to have their strength renewed, their vision renewed. They will look at the situation and not involve themselves in the situation. They will be able to separate themselves from the problem, and together as one, they will resolve the problem. So I pray for those who are going through that moment right now. And I pray for many others who maybe their challenge is being in their health or their finances or their career. And they are looking up and say, why did I make that decision? Why did I put myself in this situation? Not understanding that you are with them, not understanding that you want to strengthen them, and what is a problem for them today will become their victory tomorrow. So right now I pray, my Lord, that also your sacrifice on the cross for each one of us to receive salvation be extended for the promises that you have done, for healing, for deliverance, for guidance, for wisdom that comes from you. Because, my Lord, there are many who are giving up, and actually they're giving up great blessings without knowing it, just because they're facing challenges, not understanding that the challenges are meant to make them to grow and to fly much, much higher. May they believe in your promise today. May they go back to Isaiah 40, and may they hear your voice today to them. So, my Lord, bless all those who are facing challenges, and bless so much more those who have overcome those challenges. And today they are references. They are references as marriage, as family, as students, as professionals. And through them, your name is sanctified. This is what I pray. And I thank you, my Lord, in Jesus' name, for the blessing upon your people. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. You received a blessing today, not only in the church, but I am sure that today's program added on to God's plan for their lives, isn't that?
That's all from us, and we say goodbye.
Hi, Precious.
Hi.
So, we decided we want to put you in the hot seat. Remember how you put all our couples in the hot seats?
Yes.
So now it's your turn, Happy.
Okay.
So tell us, what was your first best memory of when you just got married?
Going to the church with my husband for the first time.
And what was your first argument about?
I need to think about it. And do you have the time? I don't think you have the time. I'll answer next time.
Okay. Do you have time for one more question? Okay. Okay. The last question is, how did you know that he was the one?
Oh, I like this one. I think his personality, his character, yeah, I just knew that he was the one.
Okay, so how did it feel being in the hot seat?
It's too hot, I'm burning, but I need to go back to work.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
The great moment to celebrate love is approaching. Coming soon, the celebration of weddings 2025 at the Holy Ground. Who can participate in the ceremony? This event is for couples who are engaged and wish to get married, or those who are already living together and want to formalize their union. Register now at a universal church near you. The grand celebration will take place on the 1st of May at 11 a.m. An exciting and unforgettable event at the Holy Ground. Couples who will participate in the ceremony must be legally married at the Home Affairs no later than the 1st of April. Don't delay. Registrations are open, but only until the 1st of April. That's right, only couples who are legally married and have registered by the 1st of April will be accepted. For more information, call our toll-free helpline on 0800 330 320 or send a message via WhatsApp to 063 471 6997. The celebration of weddings 2025 at the Holy Ground. An opportunity to turn dreams into reality.